Hello, hello. We are outside on an absolutely lovely spring day here in Minnesota. Um, Done some changes again in the garden. Made some progress on yet another step of our tree removal, a whole bunch of things like that. So, why don't we take a look? Um, One thing we're kind of excited about is we definitely have some good leaf growth on our two new elderberry bushes. After planting them, they had already started to leaf out. They had some tender spots. There was a bit of a chill a couple of nights. We lost some leaves, we lost some of the shoots, but they are still alive and kicking, so that is great. The fritillaries are blooming beautifully over here. We like these a lot. They're a really interesting flower that makes the spring quite nice. Still no signs of life from our blueberries over there, unfortunately, but we are slowly getting some leaf buds opening on our other apples. So this is the Prairie Spy, just starting to make some growth, which is quite exciting. Big work we got done today was expanding this bed. Now, this morning the bed ended about here, and now we've made it a bit wider and a bit longer. That is in part to make room for the currant bushes that are going to be planted in here. And we'll see what else ends up taking some of this area. As you can see, we actually have some daffodils blooming. This is a variety known as Fête de Joie that was released in 1927. All of the bulbs that we bought last year were from a place called Old House Gardens that specializes in antique and heirloom varieties of daffodils, hyacinths, and all sorts of things like that. So we planted, I think, about 15 daffodil bulbs from them, maybe 20. We don't have a ton blooming this year. Hopefully next year we get a lot of nice flowers on them. But it's lovely to see what we do have flowering. There's a bit of a change here. So we no longer have our mounds of mulch in between each of the posts of the fence. A little while ago, once the shadows from the fence just started to cover the area, I came in and planted our King Stropharia, or wine cap mushroom spawn. Now, I purchased it from Fedco, but it was produced by North Spore. I had originally intended to purchase from them, and I ended up seeing that I could tack the mushrooms onto an order I was already doing with Fedco, and I was pretty happy to see that they came from North Spore. North Spore appears to be a very reputable, knowledgeable, and well-stocked mushroom spawn and supply company. So what we did was, from this post down to I believe this post here, we put some of the spawn, some wood chips, spawn, and wood chips. It's not very heavily laid down. I only bought one bag, which covers, I believe it was 8 square feet, something like that. Not a huge area, but it should be enough to get our mushrooms established, and then hopefully they spread and I can perhaps propagate spawn from them as they come up. I have a book that I believe I did a review on previously, Organic Mushroom Farming and Mycoremediation. I believe the author is Tradd Cotter, Tradd, and that has extensive instructions on how to propagate your mushrooms when you're growing them. So yeah, we have The last big logs of the tree that were left over that we couldn't get milled, those have been cut. My tree guy and very good friend Tim came by today, chopped everything up for me, and he cut our stump at an angle as per our request. You can see the corners are gone now. The intent is to try and make it into a gnome house, I guess people call them. Basically put a roof on it and a door, maybe some windows or a chimney, things like that. And it looks like you got a little house made out of a stump in your yard. So I think that'll be cute if we're able to do it. And then we will, hopefully this year, extend this bed to wrap around the tree and have a nice planting area with pretty stump. And if the stump ever gets to the point where it's simply too rotten to keep, we'll get it ground down and it'll just be part of the garden bed at that point. The roses that we put in are doing pretty well. It was a bit of a risk getting them in this early, but the weather looks like it's going to hold for the rest of the week, and after that point we should be clear of any frost. So very excited. This is the Ferdinand Pichard, and it seems to be very happy in its new home. When I was extending out, so this morning, on top of dealing with that bed over here, I smoothed out some of the curves and widened this place. This came in a bit further, so we've changed that. It doesn't have these deep bellies anymore. It'll give us more planting area, make it a little easier to mow, and it balances the width of this bed better than it was before. It had some pinched spots that didn't look quite right, and I believe we'll be widening it over here as well because of the same issue. It does, at least from the house, look a little pinched in this spot. So that looks nice. Thankfully I was able to rake some of the mulch from the rest of the bed in there, so at least I didn't have to scavenge some of the other beds to take up mulch that we already had. I discovered there is a plant here that I don't remember what it was. I don't even remember planting anything there, so I'm gonna have to go back to some of my old garden videos and see what the heck is there. I believe that is about it. Everything's just filling in and starting to leaf out, which is just so nice. It looks like we have signs of life on the blueberry bushes that Maria's parents gave us, so that's really exciting. I hadn't noticed that until now. That'll be quite nice to have. Bake some blueberry buckle with my own homegrown blueberries. And speaking of berries, I guess the last thing we can talk about is this pile of sticks here. This is 12 different fruit bushes all in a little pile. So we've got 4 gooseberries, 4 currant bushes, and 4 honeyberries that will be planted throughout the backyard. Originally we had planned on putting at least some of them up front, but I think for now we're going to keep things in back, and maybe I'll take cuttings and we'll figure out how that goes. But some of the honeyberries will go here and at the end of that bed. The currants will take over there like we had said, and the gooseberries we think are going to end up as sort of an end to this bed going there, but we'll see how things progress as planting goes. So that is about it. I'm gonna go back to enjoying my lovely spring day. Hope you guys have a good one, and thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye.